Good evening. I'd like to call this Board of Health meeting to order at 6:18 p.m. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let me read my... Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, and the Governor's executive orders, imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. Although a quorum of the members of the Dudley Board of Health will be physically present for this meeting, no in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted. The meeting will be live broadcast, channel 192, and via online at YouTube. Members of the public who wish to appear before the Board of Health must make an appointment to appear on an upcoming agenda by contacting Jennifer Canoyer, 508-949-8007, or watersewer@dudleyma.gov. Placement on the agenda is not guaranteed, however, and persons requesting to appear before the Board of Health should not attend a meeting in person unless and until the appointment has been confirmed by the Board of Health. Persons with matter appearing on the meeting agenda may request that they attend via virtual means rather than in person. Such requests should be directed to Jennifer Canoyer, 508-949-8007, or watersewer@dudleyma.gov, no more than 72 hours, not counting Saturdays, Sundays, or legal holidays, in advance so that appropriate arrangements can be made. However, persons or representative with matters appearing on the meeting notice agenda who wish to be physically present at the meeting must observe the following requirements. In accordance with the existing requirements imposed by the Governor, meeting rooms will be limited in terms to the number of persons that may be physically present at the same time, including Board of Health members and staff. Satellite rooms will be available for overflow, and the meeting will be broadcast in real time in those satellite rooms. Persons who wish to participate in any particular matter on the meeting agenda will be asked to wait in a satellite room until that agenda item is reached, at which point attendees will rotate between main meeting room and the satellite rooms as appropriate. Social distancing must be maintained in both main meeting room and in satellite rooms. Face masks or coverings will be required in accordance with Governor Baker's May 1st, 2020 COVID-19 Order Number 31, order requiring face coverings in public places where social distancing is not possible. A copy of that order can be found on the State of Mass website, www.mass.gov/doc/May 1st, 2020 Masks and Face Coverings Download. Failure to comply with these requirements may lead to an attendee's removal from the meeting. Okay. Bear with me. All right, so up next is Boy Scout yard sale proposal. So we have two gentlemen here. If you can just each identify yourself.
Chris Mann, committee member.
Okay.
Alex Ryle, Assistant Scoutmaster.
Okay. So we received an email from Miss A regarding outlining what you're looking to do for the potential dates of September 18th through the 20th for the troop yard sale. Is this is still what we're discussing, correct? Okay.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
So, we have a few concerns regarding the proposal. The governor's, and either one of you, anyone can jump in if I'm misquoting things, okay? So the governor's order is currently that you can have, for outdoor gatherings, you can have no more than 50 people on the premise. So in this, it's that implying that customers will be waiting in line to enter.
Okay.
Those are part of your 50 people. You cannot have, and we've all been part of or been at the yard sale at one time or another, and we know what it's like. So what the governor's order is saying is that you can have 50 people on premise. That includes all the staff working it, your person in the streets directing traffic, parking, and anyone waiting in line.
Yep.
It's not just 50 people inside. So we don't know how you are going to keep that to 50 people. Anybody else want to jump in? No. So that is one of our big concerns. It's not the setting up with 50 people or the taking down with 50 people. It's we know how people can be. So we're not sure how you can control that.
So if you don't mind, let me start first by apologizing for our tardiness. We had the time incorrect. I'm
Not a
sorry
problem.
about that. Both Alex and I thought it was 6:30. Secondly, we both discussed tonight and we said, okay, we're here more for an informational, just like you guys are asking us for information so we can get a feel on what we're planning, what the troop is going to plan to do. We haven't made any concrete hard decisions yet. We're here to discuss some of those thoughts and processes and then go back to our troop and decide what we can and what we might be able to do or what we might not be able to do. Right off the bat, it sounds as though, as everybody has expected, the original standard yard sale procedure is not going to be acceptable to meet the COVID-19 guidelines. So we realize that and realize that with the Board of Health, and I think that's pretty evident that that's not going to happen. I'll let Alex discuss one of the second ideas as an idea, and then a possible third idea. And we'd like to just kind of throw those ideas at the board and see what the board thinks of them, and then we'll take that information and go back to the troop and come up with a final decision, if that sounds fair with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so obviously we all agree that it can be way more than 50 people there at any given time, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes hundreds in a small area. So that's obviously not feasible and nothing that we couldn't manage, right? So a couple of ideas are, one of the ideas that we've been thinking about is, selling time slots to prohibit the amount of people that, or limit the number of people that are in attendance at any given time. So Chris and I were talking today, and 50's the max, right? We don't want to hit that number too often, right? We want to stay away from that number. So an idea that we were talking about was, selling 30 time slots or 30 tickets every hour, and allowing the people an hour to shop and check out. Obviously we'd have to do a lot more announcements and kind of herding of those people, right? Because some people like to spend more than an hour,
Right.
and that's totally fine. If you want to spend more than an hour, then buy more than one ticket,
Right.
right?
Right.
We're okay with that, right? We'll take the,
Right.
well, it's all for the boys, right? So we're just trying to make sure that, we haven't been able to have a yard sale in a full year now, right? So obviously the program has been limited as well, so it's been okay, but things are going to change rapidly, and then we're going to not want to be in a position where we can't give the youth the program that they're looking for. So that was one idea, is selling, time slots of, 30 tickets a time slot. That gives us staffing of 10 to 15. So that way there's some youth in attendance. We don't want it to be, as you guys have all seen or been there for,
Yes.
it's a pretty adult-heavy lift on their end to do the supporting. But it's not for us, right? We don't get anything from it. It's for
Right.
the youth. So we want to make sure that they're visible and present in that scenario.
Through that process, it gives us approximately a 5-person buffer. Maybe some people don't spend the 30 minutes and they're out sooner. And those that do spend, the 1 hour.
Yep.
And if they're out sooner, then we're still flushing everybody out and then bringing in the next.
So my only concern with
30.
that is if you sell a 9 to 10 slot and then a 10 to 11 slot, you can't do that.
Right.
You would have to do,
Or we'd probably do it.
you'd have to have a half-hour buffer in between to get your people out and make sure that your next people know that there's no coming and standing waiting in line.
Right.
And your person in the road would
Can't line
have,
up on the road either.
and then that creates another problem, which we've just, we did speak to the chief of police briefly about this.
Yeah,
And there are concerns about, as always, with the traffic.
as always, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So we definitely thought about that too, right? There's definitely, how do you make sure that the people, aren't, you're getting those people out, right? And flowing those people through the.
Trying to stagger up
Right.
with a
So
buffer.
maybe it's a 45-minute ticket, right? And then you have the 15 minutes, of a buffer to get them out into their vehicles. Once they're in their vehicles, right, that's good, right? Then they're out of the count, right? So we're also talking about staging parking, so it's by segment. So when you're 45, or your 30 tickets, those 30 vehicles are gone, right? Then you know those next 30 people can exit their vehicles and be on their way into the gating. It won't be that hard to ticket because we're going to be checking tickets.
Right, there's only one way in.
There's only one way in,
Right.
right? So if you don't have your ticket at the gate where the
Then you're
guy's
not gonna
checking,
come
you're not
in.
coming in,
Right.
right? And it's just as simple as that. We can't do it any other way, or it would be very unmanageable, right? I know in years past we've done like deliveries and stuff like that. All that stuff's off the table, right? It'd simply be if you're there and you can purchase it and take it with you, it's yours.
Right, yeah, not holding it for later, because then
Nope.
that's too much of a nightmare.
Yep, no holding for later.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. So there's certainly changes, limits, right? It's certainly not going to be as profitable for the youth as in years past, probably. Just considering it's a volume business, right? You
Right.
want people in there, and you want lots of people traffic, and you want to turn those goods so there's new stuff on top and for people to look at. So that was one idea that we were thinking about.
We considered with that idea, it would be a 2-day,
Yeah.
a 1.5-day
1.5
situation.
days, right? To try and make up for some of the
Some of the loss and extend some of the time to try and get as many dollar value,
Yeah.
dollar purchase tickets in the
Right.
door.
So you think about it from like an 8 to 4 on Saturday, maybe a 10 to 12, or 8 to 12 on Sunday, something like that. It is a pretty hefty effort to clean up, because UTAG starts business first thing Monday morning, so
Right.
we have to be
Right.
out of their hair and not contributing any excess work for them. So
Any thoughts on decreasing some of the stations?
yeah, so we're thinking that with the limited parking, we're also going to be able to potentially expand out a little bit further, providing more aisles, spaces.
And move things out a little more?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There'll be certain, we've also talked about not selling clothing this year. That's a pretty big space usually.
That was always a
Yes.
giant pile.
Giant piles, and people are digging through and
Yeah.
touching everything.
Yeah.
It's usually not a big money maker, to be
What's
quite
your
honest.
big moneymaker? Usually furniture.
Furniture,
Yeah.
housewares,
Houseware stuff.
your sporting goods, stuff like that, your
Kids' toys.
So those are the things that we'd be really focusing on. Those would get the
Getting them
biggest
out.
areas, but allowing us to bump out a little further into the parking lot,
Right.
because we're only going to have 60 cars in there max, and that's assuming Chris and I don't ride together and take
Right.
one vehicle, right? So if you're from the same family, you still count as separate people, so you have to buy a separate ticket, right?
And you're not doing any food this
No
year?
food. Nope.
So that also would open up a little more space.
Food for the scouts, but no food to
Correct.
sell. So you guys would still be stationed, on this side of the orange, or will you go outside to
Nope,
the
we're
parking
gonna
lot?
be, with UTAG's permission, out of sight, out of mind, from any of the guests, so that way
What are you
there's-
gonna have for food for?
It'll be individual served, and packaged, hamburgers and hot dogs, so you'll each have your own meal. right?
Already prepared, or?
Yep, pre-prepared, yep.
So there's no cooking or anything there on site?
So they'll cook it on site. So they'll cook
And then
it
they
on
just
site.
foil it up and then,
You put it in a servette or something?
Exactly, you'll get like a to-go
Mm.
container with your
To-go
meal.
container, okay.
Yep.
I like the idea of it spaced out more. Like housewares is huge, and so isn't like the books and the VCR, the movies, like that section, those are super tight.
Yeah, like books, again, probably not something we're gonna, VCR. Probably gonna end up in the dumpster. To be
I
quite
know.
honest, right? We have right now, like I said, we haven't been able to do a yard sale in a year. So we have 4 trailers full of
Wow.
stuff.
Yeah,
So there's gonna be a lot of stuff that doesn't even make it to the, right? Because there's just not enough space.
Right.
And we don't want to clutter, right? A lot of the retail stores that you go into now, I work for one of them, everything's, 6 feet apart, or,
yeah.
Right.
3
Right.
feet apart, and then there's, one-way traffic,
Mhm.
So, things like that we'll take into consideration, and obviously, we don't have the exact layout for you right now.
yeah.
But if that's something that you guys wanted to see at some point, we could propose an idea.
Directional.
Yeah, like on the ground, the
Layout.
directional, you're
A
in
layout
one.
or drawing a layout in a directional
Flow of
pathway.
traffic, yeah.
Mhm.
We don't want people meandering back and forth It's a,
It's a one-way.
it's a one-way venture.
Right now, you go in the same way you go out, right? But,
Yep, so it
What-
wouldn't
what's
be, we
down
would
to
have
the
a
end?
separate entrance and a separate exit.
okay, good.
So
Like
when
you-
you have,
yeah.
because what we want to be able to do is, as people leave, right, start to let some new blood in, right? And
Right.
obviously at the allotted times and at the right spacing, but we don't want the same people, we want to be able to, you know, if needed, clean that space, you know, let them come through and then, you know, obviously have the exit at the other end,
Yeah.
allow flow, you know,
Right.
less.
Down like where the picnic tables
Like
are,
where the
down
food would've
over there
been.
somewhere.
Come in at the furniture,
Come in at the furniture,
And then
exit down
exit
by the
through.
food.
or vice versa, depending
Oh,
on.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Toys and
Um,
food.
2 questions for you. What if you have someone who's refusing to wear a mask and wants to enter?
Well, what's the
I
guideline
know,
on your end,
no
right?
mask,
So,
no service.
I mean, and that's, you know, that's one of the things that we have to take your guidance on, right? We can't make up our own rules on that,
Right.
right? So,
You can refuse service to people
Mhm.
that don't have a mask,
Right.
for
I just
whatever
wanted to-
reason.
It's just like for any of our, I'm a business owner, same thing. I'm not
Yep.
gonna provide a service for you if you don't have
so
a
then
mask
we
on.
would take that guidance and follow that. And
You'd
when
want to,
when we're doing the tickets, we're gonna sell them online, right? So we can explicitly put in there whatever.
no mask, no
stipulations, right?
entrance, yeah.
No masks, no service, right on the top,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
And you'd want to have signs.
Yeah,
We'll have
you know,
signs.
COVID-19, all that. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
some
point
hand
of entry, that's all you
sanitizers
really
in
need.
and out.
Yep, we can do the same, that's, exactly. So that's why I'm saying if we needed to clean those areas for any reason, touching, money, you know, anything like that, we're gonna try and do a lot less money contact too.
Yeah,
Just because, and they'll be limited to certain
Right.
people touching the money. So it's, again, if any cash is transacted, it's limited.
And then what if you have someone who's refusing to leave when their time is up? I'm just,
No,
I
that's
just
a
No,
great
wanted
that's
to
a
know,
great,
these are,
that's a
you know,
great point.
And we know that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
so, I think that's the part of our thought process behind giving ourselves that little bit of a buffer. You know, I don't anticipate that we're gonna need 15 staff to run the thing. We're talking much scaled down, fewer areas, all that kind of stuff, so, you know, there's gonna be a few of those. I hope that people are understanding, and there's certain things that we're just not gonna be able to control, like, and that's gonna be one of them, right? You know, I don't know that we have a
That's,
great
and
answer
that's,
to that.
and,
I
but
think
that's the
it's-
purpose of tonight.
Yeah,
With
and
you
it's
guys
some-
for giving us that feedback, we'll
right.
be able to go
And
back
that's
to
why
the
I'm
truth.
asking you certain
Yeah, and
questions,
that's
just to
perfect. I'm
put it
writing-
out
I'm-
there and,
Capturing
I
some of these
second
items
yeah,
down,
that's
yeah.
good.
yeah.
Good that you have one.
And, because,
No,
She was looking at you. There you are.
I was my pen today, so.
no, you're fine. Anything else you can? Any other questions regarding anything?
It seems like you guys came up with, that's
Yeah,
Plan B
no, I
is
don't
very
think
good.
so, because there's only one way in,
Yep.
so, and one way out, there's gonna be someone there saying, you know, where's your ticket, and this is your
Or
time.
wristband.
If your ticket says
Wristband
9 and it's
people
8
stamp
o'clock,
in.
I'm sorry, you have to
Sorry,
go
come
home.
back. Yep,
Yeah.
and
Leave.
that's just
Yep.
keep the traffic going, just see ya.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, next.
I'm not sure about the, you know, as the first time frame ends, about more cars coming in, because people are still people regardless if they're in their car. You know what I mean? So I don't know about that, like if there's already 30 people shopping plus 10 Boy Scouts, if now we start letting in more cars and now we're at 50, 60 people, because that still defeats the purpose of not, even though they're in their cars and they're not shopping, they're still
And you-
in their car
That's why
on.
they have the buffer time.
The-
if they
Yeah, so,
schedule
yeah, I
next.
mean, we will have a little bit of buffer in there,
Yeah.
15 minutes of overlap, right? So if
Right.
you shop from 9 to 9:45, right? And that shopping time includes your checkout time, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
not trying.
Right,
I
Like,
just
that's not your,
announce that it's checkout time and we have to get ready for the next
Right,
week.
Right,
time,
and I mean-
time to go.
people have to be understanding, and if they're, I mean, it is a different time, and like we said, if
Right.
they want to spend
Exactly.
the whole day there, be my guest and go online and buy 10 tickets, right?
right.
And spend the whole day there.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be perfect, right?
How much are you
No,
selling the
absolutely
tickets
not.
for?
That's to be determined. So we typically sell early bird access for $10.
Right.
So my first guess would be that. Now limited to due to the fact that we're limited in how much we're going to be able to sell, and
the hours limit
The
us.
hours.
The hours and the quantity of people.
Right.
We figured out that, the profits are, cut back by almost 60 to 70%,
Imagine.
So,
just by limiting the hours and the number, and going with a certain dollar value. So,
if you think about it, if we do Saturday and Sunday and we say 30 people an hour and we're only open for 12 hours, you're only talking 360 people there between 2 days. Now, like you guys have all said, you've been there. There's well more than 360,
Oh, yeah.
probably well more than 1,000 people that come in and out of those gates
Absolutely.
every yard sale.
yep.
So, we do want to try and make a little bit of money for the boys, so we do have to keep that in mind. And we also don't want to do all this work and not make anything for them.
Right.
So, I wouldn't anticipate them going much more than $20, but that would be kind of our ballpark.
So what I'd like to see is a like a proposal written up with flow of traffic, like a sketch, nothing professional, just, stick drawings work.
Oh,
And then,
bathrooms.
porta potties.
Sorry. I just thought
You
about
had
the
porta potties
bathrooms.
in
They
the
have to be
past.
cleaned.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
UTAG in the past
Oh,
was
so we use the
opened.
porta potties, and we will have,
Yeah.
we talked about that. Is there going to be more than one, right? So that way, if there's cleaning going on at one, there's still availability for
So you'll
another.
have somebody there who,
Exactly.
that'll be there.
Adults love that job, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I see my volunteer
Families
sitting
not
right there.
signing up.
All done. I'm glad my son's out.
Ooh, gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, boy, I gotta do my hair. Oh, my God.
I'm gonna throw one other thing at you. Your yard sale last September was canceled because of 888.
Yes.
Yes.
So I can tell you, we haven't had any cases here yet, but
Yep.
we did have, there was a mosquito.
A mosquito positive in Douglas.
Yeah.
So,
So we are well prepped for that because we were well prepped for it last year. We were almost, all the way up till Friday, almost of that weekend we were going. So we've got plenty of,
well, you said 4 o'clock the first day, right? So it's well before.
Right, it's
Still.
it's more the Friday night.
Oh, yeah, the prepping.
The
So
Friday night.
Yep,
just
yep.
keep that on the back burner. Make sure that you're thinking about that.
Sure.
That would be appreciative. I just wanted to throw that at you. I'm gonna throw everything I can think of.
no, and honest, and if there's anything that you guys think of post this before next week or whenever the next meeting is that you guys would like us to come back and propose those things,
Let's look at that.
feel free to.
We should look at
I
that.
think, Jen, you've got my number. Feel free
I
to send
do.
it. Feel free to
I
send it
almost
my
called
way.
you.
And we'll certainly take that into advisement and see what we can come up with.
Okay,
Okay.
so, Lori, do you have your phone with you, your calendar? Your, when would we be available?
Taking stuff apart?
I know it's tight timeline, but we would obviously like a week to prepare for the yard
Oh,
sale
yeah.
if possible. So,
Yeah,
of any kind. So,
I'm off Monday.
the 31st? Is that the day we're on?
Chris will take down the time this time so we
And
don't
I'm off
mess it up.
September 7th, but I don't know if that's too close. So I'm off the 31st and I'm off the 7th.
7th is a holiday.
Right, what about,
I'm taking that time to myself.
I'm supposed to be off, I'm
have
supposed to
to.
be off that whole week
The
again.
8th, I can do 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 8th.
Oh,
Wednesday's bad. Thursday the 10th, I'm available after 5:30. The week before is, oh, the 7th is Labor Day. What am I talking about?
She's, I don't think she's
Not
available.
oh, me neither. It's true. Oh, it's a
We,
holiday.
isn't there a meeting? Oh, that's during the day.
If I have a tiny window on the 2nd between 5 and 6:30.
I have a meeting at 6:30 on the 2nd already.
6
Look at
o'clock
these
on the
busy
3rd.
schedules.
What'd you say on the
Thursday
3rd?
the 3rd, I'm available at
6
6 o'clock.
Thursday the 3rd?
It's a holiday weekend. It's my only time away.
Are you going away
I
Thursday?
think so. I'm gonna
Okay.
try Thursday, Friday.
No, that's fine,
Hey,
'cause
No, I
So
can
we're into the next
confirm.
week.
I'm
I
off
think
the
we've
next
done-
week.
You're off the 7th.
I'm off the
Labor Day.
7th.
Okay.
Like I said, it only,
Wait,
anytime
that's a
between-
Thursday. Don't you guys have a meeting on the 3rd?
Yeah, we do.
So kind of
Fine.
can't have you here if you're
Well,
supposed to be there.
They're not gonna be there till 7, they'd be with us at 6.
Okay.
But if you're not gonna be here, that's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't, we're flexible. We can make any day of the week
So
work. We'll just
Tuesday the 8th, I can
figure out
do
who's available.
after 5:30.
And all three of us have to be here?
Yes. Did you say you're available on the 31st?
I'm off Monday, this coming Monday.
Are you available on the 31st?
I'll make myself.
No, if not.
I'm not sure.
No, that's fine then. Because it would have to be
The deeper
earlier.
we get into September,
The worse it's
harder
gonna
it is
get.
for me for school, so.
Because they have a selectmen's meeting at 6:30, right? Usually the selectmen's meeting on the 31st?
No, not this week.
Oh, no,
We just had
that's, so
one.
we could, so what time would you be available?
I'm open right now, so you tell me. I'll plan my day around this.
Would you be available around 5?
It says so.
Are you available around 5?
I am. Yeah, so someone will be available on the 31st if.
Okay.
Would you be available
Sure.
31st?
I'll make
So,
myself.
we're gonna do the 31st, which is August
Monday.
31st, which is this coming Monday,
Yes.
Yep.
5 PM,
Yes.
right here. Fred, are you available?
We need someone to, otherwise you're gonna go do it.
Thank you. Okay, so if you can if you get that information beforehand, you can email it over. Do you want it to email to you, or do you want it to do the Board of Health email, and I can print everything from there?
Yeah, that's fine. Board of Health is
You can
fine.
email it at BOH, Board of Health, at dudleyma.gov.
Okay.
I'm just going to confirm some of the items on the
Sure.
proposal. Once again, we'll bring this back to troop. We'll have to make a decision. We'll get back to you guys about what direction the troop will end up choosing. But so in the proposal, we'll be including cleaning procedures, the direction and flow, including a map, details on how we're handling the food for the staff. Heard you guys say. Details on the plan of operation regarding patrons, number of patrons, and how we handle and how we're going to be buffering them, and how we're going to maintain a 50 or less count on the site.
Right.
That could address quite a few different little things underneath it.
Right, like, what your
Parking.
time slots would be set up as.
Right, what the time slots will be set up as,
Yep.
ticket
And,
prices, all that kind
and
of
just
stuff.
for us, because we know where you would have people staffed,
Yep.
if you can.
Yeah, well,
And we're
that
not
would
gonna
be-
hold you to it, like you said, you'd have somebody here,
Yeah,
but
right,
just so
don't-
that
No,
we
that would
have.
be part of the flow of people. So
Perfect.
you would see the different areas in that chart, and you'll see, we can suggest staffing for each of those areas.
Okay.
That sound like a
Yes.
decent amount
That
of
sound
stuff
good?
if we,
Mhm.
okay, if we
Good,
choose to do
good.
that?
Okay,
very
yep,
good.
that should be great.
Yep.
Okay,
That was nice.
So we will see you on the 31st at 5 PM.
Sounds good.
sounds good.
Excellent. If you have any questions during that time, you can reach out to any one of us and, pick our brains.
I
She
will.
No,
doesn't
I know
have
Miss
enough
A
on her
has
plate.
contact information, so.
Yes,
she knows
yes.
how to
Just
find
call
us.
here, I'm always here.
Oh,
You're trying to knock me out now?
Sure looks like it. Well, then she'd have to answer our question, so I don't know what she wants to do.
See what we did?
All right, thank you guys.
You're
guys have
welcome. Thanks,
anything?
guys.
you.
Take care.
Thank
Huh?
you,
Is there
gentlemen.
any disinfectant we have to put on?
Right.
No, we're good. We'll
Okay.
take care of it. Here we go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yep. You too.
Oh, no worries. Okay, so that was the only thing on the agenda.
All right.
So at this time, I know we have another meeting waiting.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
I have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion adjourned at 6:46.